Hello and welcome. My name is Paul, and welcome to Lady Ghosts.
Oh, lady ghosts!
First things, there's a few bits of housekeeping I have to do.
Oh, Christ, what did I get wrong in the previous episode?
No, not you got wrong, but a few people have approached me with ideas for future episodes, and they've been going around spreading the word of the podcast to several people. So I'm obliged to thank Minaj for telling the entire office, and I'm obliged to thank Minaj for a second time because he said I had to thank him twice.
Okay. And I kind of feel obligated that I should do it, but I won't.
Okay. Now on to the actual podcast.
Thank you.
Now on to the actual podcast. So we're talking about female spirits from, well, basically female spirits from around the world. This pretty much covers, there's a bit of a list, famous ghost women from around the world. So number one, do you want to guess what number one might be? You stand in front of a mirror and say a name 3 times.
I was going to guess Bloody Mary.
Oh, yes, Bloody Mary. That is right. Number one is Bloody Mary. Legend has it that if you say Bloody Mary 3 times while facing the bathroom mirror, or any mirror in particular, in the dark.
I think you should restart that bit.
No, that's fine.
You said the bathroom mirror and then corrected yourself.
Because it says bathroom mirror on here.
But it's any mirror, isn't it?
It could be. We're arguing with the internet, not just me.
Okay. Why am I arguing with you about you arguing with the internet then?
I don't know. Her ghost will appear. But who is Bloody Mary exactly? In ghost hunting culture, Bloody Mary is thought to be Mary Tudor, former Queen of England, Ireland, and Spain. She got a nickname because of her fondness for executions. Even as a young girl, during her rule, hundreds of Protestant dissenters were executed on account of heresy.
Say that again.
Heresy.
No. The dissenters.
Yeah, dissenters. Yeah,
Protestant.
yeah, Protestant dissenters.
You said Prostinton.
Protestant. Okay. Bunch of Christian guys that she didn't like. Today, Mary Tudor is one of the most legendary ghosts in the world, with her spirit being summoned in bathrooms all over the globe. Now, I think we'll take that loosely because I've not come across anybody who's actually managed to summon Bloody Mary.
No, I think me and some friends once tried it at a sleepover when we were maybe about 8 or 9. Just stood in the bathroom going, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, right? Nothing happened. Oh, don't worry, there's no mirror in this room and it's light, it's not dark.
Oh, yeah. And I think you have to have a candle as well.
Yeah.
There's loads of different
Potentially.
variations of the ritual.
But yeah, she didn't come and slay me and my friends, so,
No.
you know.
Curse you, Bloody Mary.
Yeah, thanks, Paul.
I never liked your friends. No, I'm joking.
Oh, dear.
I don't know which friends they were. Number 2 is Dolly Madison.
I thought you were going to say Dolly Parton then.
No, Dolly Parton's not dead.
Exactly.
God bless Dolly Parton. So Dolly Madison was the USA's first lady between 1809 and 1817. She was celebrated for hosting lively parties and is said to be a young woman with many talents. However, she is best known for the role she played in rescuing the Gilbert Stuart painting of George Washington before the British invasion of the White House in 1812. Yes, we invaded the White House in 1812.
Yeah.
After she died at the age of 81, there were many reports of Dolly floating around the White House's Rose Garden. Of all America's female ghosts, Dolly Madison is one of the most loved. Unlike the next one, the Bell Witch.
Okay.
So in the early 1800s, John Bell and his family moved from North Carolina to Tennessee. Everything seemed fine at first, but it was not long before very strange things began to happen to the family. There were sightings of weird creatures in the cornfields, and they heard unexplained noises every night. There are films about the Bell Witch.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's one I've heard of.
Mhm. The evil spirit causing all this disruption was dubbed the Bell Witch. Ghost hunters travelled from far and wide to try to help the Bells with their ghost problem. The terrorising of the family got worse and worse, and many people believe that the Bell Witch is to blame for John's death in 1820. It's said to be the only ghost to have ever killed someone.
Mm.
And in 1820, he fell into a coma and then died. I don't know what he died of.
Wonder what he fell into a coma with.
Peaceful dreams, maybe not.
Yeah, went to bed one night and just stayed asleep.
But yeah, I mean, there was, if I remember the story rightly, he had a feud with a nearby lady who owed him some money. Or he owed money, something like that. I think she owed him money, owed him something for land. He refused, and she cursed the family. And again, I think it's one of those where the spirit centered around the daughter for a while and then aimed at the dad.
Interesting.
Being the dad of a daughter, it kind of creeps you out that there's evil spirits out there that may one day target you.
Well, I think it's in his case because he owed land.
He was a jerk.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Sounds like it. He was a jerk.
He got cursed by someone. It's like Drag Me to Hell, the film.
Yeah.
Curses that woman for not doing what she wanted.
So the film is called An American Haunting. It's from 2005, so if you want to watch it, check it out. Number 4, La Planchada. La Planchada, which is Spanish for the Ironed Lady, is a well-known legend. Ironed, yeah.
ED?
ED, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
She does the ironing, I believe.
She sounds like she's been ironed.
Well, yeah, she might be smooth and no more wrinkles.
Just
So it's a well-known legend in Mexico. She's said to be a ghost named Eulalia, who fell in love with a doctor who did not return her love. After this rejection, she became very dejected and was known for not treating her patients very well.
nice.
There are many stories of malign female spirits, but La Planchada is actually thought to be quite friendly. Even though she wasn't good in life, she treated patients in her death quite well. A spirit is said to have healed the sickness of some patients, perhaps atoning for her sins from when she was alive. Catching a glimpse of her during her time in hospital is said to be a good omen.
Right, okay. As in you see her, she's going to heal you?
Yeah, as in you're probably going to be all right.
Right.
Unlike that cat that sits on old people's beds in an old people's home somewhere. But that's a story for another time.
Yeah, that's in the topic of animal ghosts.
Animal ghosts, yeah. It's not a ghost, it's a real ghost. It's just an animal goes and sits on people's beds and then they die a few days later.
Paranormal animals.
Number 5, The Crying Woman, also known as La Llorona, is one of the most famous campfire stories in Latin American folklore. The story follows a woman named Maria. After she found out her husband was cheating on her, Maria drowned her 2 children in a jealous rage. La Llorona is said to haunt the waterways of Mexico and the southwestern parts of the USA, crying out for her drowned children. You can recognize her by her long, dark hair and her white dress that is dripping in water.
So people who see La Llorona should be shouting there, "Oh, you drown him, woman."
Yeah, I think she mostly targets kids, to be honest. She'll lure kids because she thinks they're her own and she drowns them as well.
Oh, lovely.
And now number 6, Anne Boleyn.
Anne Boleyn, yep.
We all know what Anne Boleyn is. Queen of England between 1533 and 1536. One of Henry VIII's wives, beheaded.
Yeah.
She's number 2 on the list of divorced, beheaded and died. So, well, she's the first to be beheaded. So after being married to King Henry VIII for just 3 years, Anne Boleyn was beheaded for treason at the Tower of London. We mentioned that previously.
Yeah.
It's thought that the king used treason as an excuse, and the main reason for Anne Boleyn's beheading was that she could not bear him a male heir.
Yeah.
And the ghost of Anne Boleyn has been sighted all over England. Sightings of Anne Boleyn's ghosts often happen around Christmas time, and she's known to make appearances at royal events. So we've had pretty much a lady in white already in La Llorona.
Yeah.
She usually wears white. We've now got the Red Lady.
The Red
At
Lady.
number 7. So the Red Lady, or the Lady in Red, as she's sometimes referred to, is the ghost of a woman who haunts Tuna Pa's Mizpah Hotel. The historical truth about this woman is a little fuzzy. Some say that she was a prostitute who was murdered by one of her clients. Others say she was murdered by her husband after he found that she was cheating on her. There's a recurring theme here when it comes to lady ghosts and women ghosts and ladies in whatever colour.
Yeah.
There's always a man involved.
Yeah, somebody who's done it or drove them to it.
Yeah. The haunted room of the Mizpah Hotel attracts ghost hunters and paranormal enthusiasts from around the world. Ghost Stories in America revealed the Lady in Red represents a popular trope of women who were murdered by their lovers, with ladies in red being spotted all over the country. Now, the next one, number 8, is the Donkey Lady.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Donkey Lady.
Donkey Lady, yeah. There's probably more to it than that.
Please explain the context. What you're talking...
Yeah.
I can't even get my words out a little bit. Yeah. Stunned by the Donkey Lady. What is the Donkey Lady, Paul?
So America's ghosts come in all different shapes and forms, including half donkeys. The legend of San Antonio's Donkey Lady is one of the region's most famous ghost stories. Legends say that the Donkey Lady raised donkeys on a farm, all on her own. She died in a body that left her maimed and scarred, and today she haunts the farmlands surrounding the city. The Donkey Lady is said to have the body of a woman, but the head of a donkey.
I mean...
So that's sinking for a minute.
So, I mean, if it was somebody who was beheaded and then after they'd been murdered, somebody then stuck a donkey's head on them, on the body, as like an insult kind of thing.
Yeah, that would make sense.
I suppose, yeah, if you squint hard enough, you can see it, but...
Yeah. I mean...
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I never said this list was going to be...
Oh, no, I mean, throw a curveball every now and then,
spooky and scary, you know. Throw in a bit of comedy gold.
Yeah.
So
Donkey Lady.
So let's move on to the next one. The next one's a bit more interesting. A little less.
The next one is the Donkey Lady in Red.
Yeah. Number 9 is a Japanese ghost called Kuchisake Onna.
Okay. Do we know what that means?
Yes, well, roughly. So Kuchisake Onna is a malevolent figure in Japanese urban legends and folklore, described as a malicious spirit or onryo of a woman. She partially covers her face with a mask or other items and carries a pair of scissors, knife, or some other sharp object.
Now, I think we got murdered by an onryo. Well, me and Nick did. You probably escaped on Phasmophobia.
Yeah, we will have done.
Yeah.
She's also known as the Slipmouth Woman.
Yeah, we definitely got murdered by her while you escaped.
She often presents herself to children.
Yep.
At first, she's wearing a mask, but then removes it to show the slit in her face.
Yeah.
That goes from ear to ear. She's rumoured to ask, "Am I pretty?" And if you say no, she slashes your face with a samurai sword. Now, this is a story meant to reveal ways society objectifies women, with an unnatural woman typically being portrayed as evil. So if you don't fit the norms, you're a bad guy. Number 10, The Vanishing Hitchhiker.
Yep.
Now, you'll probably know this story because this is quite a popular one that floats around quite often. So it's the story of a vanishing hitchhiker has been told all around the world, and it is difficult to determine its exact origins. The story tells of a young female hitchhiker who gets picked up by a man in a car. She gives him an address, and he begins to make his way there. After a while, he notices that the woman has completely vanished. When he arrives at her home, her family tells him that she died in a car accident many years ago. And that story pops up all over the place.
Yeah, I'm going to say that's a familiar one. I've certainly heard that before.
Yeah, I've heard of one not that long back, actually, of a woman picked up near a graveyard. And I think she's buried in the graveyard, asked to be taken home. And when she gets there, the family says, no, she's dead. And that's where she's buried. So that was a list of 10 female ghosts from around the world. There's variations in the different lady colours. So the white ladies, there's so many different ones from around the world. There's a list of ones from around the world here as well. I mean, what ladies in white are typically they're dressed in a white dress or similar garments.
What involvement does the man have on the creation of a white lady?
There. Reportedly seen in rural areas and associated with local legends of tragedy.
Yep.
So white lady legends are found in many countries around the world. Common to these many legends is an accidental death, murder, or suicide, and the theme of loss, betrayal by a husband or fiancé, or unrequited love.
Yeah.
And the white tends to represent purity. So, do you want to read a few of these?
I don't mind. I'll happily read some. So Brazil. Shout out to my friend Caio from Brazil. Fuzz, dude. From Brazil. Called Dama Branca, or Mula de Branco in Portuguese. The Brazilian lady in white is said to be the ghost of a young woman who died of childbirth or violent causes. According to legend, she appears as a pale woman in a long white dress or a sleeping gown. Although usually speechless, she will occasionally recount her misfortunes. The origins of the myth are not clear. Luis de Câmara Cascudo's Diccionario de Folclore Brasileiro, Brazilian Folklore Dictionary, apologies if I butchered that pronunciation then, proposes that the ghost is related to the violent deaths of young white women who were murdered by their fathers or husband in an honour killing. The most frequent reasons for these honour killings were adultery, actual or suspected, denial of sex, or abuse. Monteiro Lobato, in his book Euripes, describes a young woman starved to death by her husband because he suspected she was in love with a black slave and only gave her the stewed meat of his corpse for food.
Ow. Okay.
What a deranged person that is.
Sickening.
As far as the specific examples go, that's pretty vile.
Yeah, this turn. If I'd have read this first, I'd probably skipped over.
Yeah. How do you want this to go? Wow.
Pretty dark.
Yeah. Next one's Canada.
Oh, Canada.
Shout out to my friend Scotty from Canada.
And Minaj, he's from Canada.
And also Pavan lives in Canada now.
Oh, cool.
So
I don't think he'll be listening to the podcast.
no, he won't listen unless he's seen it on Facebook. But Pav, if you've seen it, g'day, mate. A popular legend claims... Sorry, I'm sure you can just edit that out. A popular legend claims that the surroundings of the Montmorency Falls near Quebec City are haunted by a white lady. It is said that the spirit of a young Canadian woman whose soon-to-be husband was killed while fighting against the British in the Battle of Beauport. The young couple allegedly used to meet near the top of the falls. Accordingly, the grieving woman is said to have chosen the site to end her life by throwing herself in the raging waters while wearing the wedding dress that she had recently ordered to be made. A smaller waterfall in the vicinity now bears the name Chute de la Dame Blanche, which is White Lady Waterfall, in reference to this legend.
Nice.
Not quite as...
not as gruesome as the last one.
Yeah, not quite as gruesome as that last one. Next one is from the Czech Republic. I don't have any friends in the Czech Republic. Not that there's anything against them, but no one to do a shout out to. The best known white lady of the Czech Republic is the ghost of Perchta of Rosenberg at Rosenberg Castle, who was the daughter of an important Bohemian nobleman. She lived in the period 1429 to 1476. The Bohemian nobleman Aldrich II of Rosenberg. She married another nobleman, Jan of Liechtenstein, in 1449, so when she was 20. The marriage was quite unhappy. One reason may have been that Perchta's father was reluctant to pay the agreed dowry.
Ah, yes, the dowry.
Someone wants to marry your daughter, and the dowry is where you have to pay them to take her off your hands. Legend has it that her husband was dying. He asked for her forgiveness for his treatment of her. Perchta refused, and her husband cursed her. After death, she returned as a ghost to her family holdings. According to legends, the ghost was most apparent in the settlements of Rosenberg, Český Krumlov, Jindřichův Hradec, Třeboň, and Telk. Again, I apologise for butchering any pronunciations. The story of White Lady is also included in the ancient Bohemian legends. Estonia. The most famous White Lady of Estonia is said to reside in Haapsalu Castle. According to the legend, a canon fell in love with her. A canon? Talking a religious man?
Oh, it could be, yeah.
A canon fell in love with her. Not talking the weapon.
Yeah.
So she hid in the castle disguised as a choir boy. Yeah. Here we go, yeah. No further comments.
Yeah.
But she was discovered when the Bishop of Osselvik visited Haapsalu and subsequently immured in the wall of the chapel for her crime. So they
bricked her up alive.
Yeah.
Common theme with women in churches these days,
And religious.
not these days, but back in those days.
What was the other one that we?
Whitby Abbey.
It was Whitby Abbey, wasn't it?
Yeah.
To this day, she is said to look out of the baptistery's window and grieve for her beloved man. According to legend, she can be seen on clear August full moon nights.
Ireland.
Ireland.
Ireland. Let's not do the accent. That's insulting to the Irish.
Just basically cut that part and start again.
Ireland. In Charlesfort, Ireland. In Charlesfort, Ireland, there is the story of a white lady, the ghost of a young woman who died on her wedding night. See a theme coming around again with these white ladies. Weddings. Her death was a suicide which followed the death of her husband at the hands of her father. So she killed herself and her dad killed him. Because her father killed her husband, she came back as a ghost in search of him.
So hold on, who died in what order?
So her death was a suicide which followed the death of her husband. Oh, right. So
her husband died and she killed
father,
herself.
her father killed her husband, so she killed herself.
Right.
Wow. Woo.
Did she haunt her father?
Well, she came back as a ghost to search for him, and some people heard her screaming for her father in the night.
We totally need the sound effect of
Father!
Douglas Renham. Father!
And now every year, on her marriage night, or the anniversary of her marriage night, you can hear her scream. People also report sightings of a female dubbed the woman in the white dress, or
What?
woman in a white dress, or Anne Bain Barn, the woman in white, in an abandoned house next to the White River in Dunleer, County Louth. Or Louth. Japan next. Now, I actually have an entire thing about Japanese ghosts as well, but we're going to cover that in a future episode.
Yeah.
Japanese ghosts are cool.
Yeah.
So in Japanese folklore, the Yuri or Unryo, killed by both,
Yep.
are frequently depicted as women with long black hair and white dresses. So if you think of Grudge or The Ring,
Yeah.
this is due to these spirits commonly appearing in the conditions they died. And in Japanese culture, people are buried in a white kimono. The depiction was cemented for the rest of the world by Japanese horror stories and films such as The Ring or Ju-on.
Yeah.
It's also a typical depiction of ghosts in East Asia. Now, if you haven't seen Ju-on Origins, it's a good series. It's on Netflix. Great series.
I'm
It's dubbed.
remembering The Ring where she steps out at TV and
Yeah.
she's in a
Yeah.
white dress.
Yeah.
It's like straggly looking kind of.
Yeah. She basically climbs out of a well, so she's soaking
Yeah,
wet.
that's it.
Again, a
Soaking
woman in
wet.
white soaking wet.
Yeah.
Common theme here.
Yeah. The Water Ladies.
Yeah. The United Kingdom. England.
England.
13 Tales within England also suggest that the White Lady may be a victim of murder or suicide who died before she could tell anyone the location of some hidden treasure. I'm assuming 13 Tales is a book.
Yeah, it sounds
So,
like it. Yeah.
around 2019, the castle of Blenkinsop in Northumberland
Yep.
was occupied by a family. One night, the parents woke to their boy screaming, "The White Lady!" By the time they arrived at his bedside, she had vanished. Or was she there at all? Who knows?
Could have been dreaming.
Could have been. Yep. I once woke up from a dream and thought there was a white lady floating over my bed. By the time it got to his bedtime, she'd vanished. However, the boy reported that the lady had been very angry and tried to take him away after he refused to accompany her to a box of gold buried in the vault below. They have a vault, nice. She could not rest while it was there. The same event took place the following 3 nights, and when the child started beginning to sleep with his parents, the White Lady no longer disturbed him, but he never again travelled through the castle alone for the fear of her.
So hold on. Did they go and actually look for this thing of gold?
Probably not.
Or the vault?
Well, obviously not, otherwise we'd have had a nice story at the end saying they found the gold.
So for the next podcast, Paul and I will be travelling to this location
Yeah.
to find the pot of gold.
Yeah. And if you don't hear from us, we found it.
Yeah, we found it. We're not doing the podcast anymore.
The White Lady, also known as the Running Lady of Beeford, East Yorkshire. Not the good Yorkshire, it's the East Yorkshire. Ugh.
It's that side.
Yeah, the wrong side of the
Yeah.
Yorkshires.
We apologise to the rest of the world for them.
East Yorkshire resides in the Beeford Strait, a stretch of road between Beeford and Brandonsburton. Motorists have reported her apparition.
Hold on, what accent are you doing there? You just went, motorists.
Motorists
Motorists.
have reported her apparition. Motorists have reported her apparition running across the Beeford Strait towards the junction of North Frodingham. Anecdotal tales also report a motorcyclist picking up a female hitchhiker on the same stretch of road. A few miles later, the motorcyclist turned around. Guess what? She'd vanished. Yay. Whoa.
Did she give him an address by any chance?
Didn't say. Doesn't say. In one instance, a car crashed into a tree, killing 6 people.
Oh,
It is rumoured to be the White Lady's curse.
lovely.
Wow, that took a downer.
Yeah, it's like you're reading this and I'm almost about to, make a joke about the motorcyclist.
That's a bit too depressing. It's getting really depressing, is this one? In another story, a white lady is seen retracing her steps. She is said to have jumped off Porchester Castle while trying to retrieve her fallen child. Her spirit is said to haunt the castle.
What?
It's just
A child fell and she jumped off trying to retrieve them.
Yeah.
Did the child die?
Surprisingly, there's no mention of that.
Oh, well, not bothered about kids now, are they?
The ghost of a Pomeroy lady called Matilda, also called Margaret, is told to haunt Bury Pomeroy Castle in Devon as a harbinger of death to anyone who sees her in the dungeon of the St. Margaret's Tower. Matilda, or Margaret, is said to have been starved to death by her sister in the dungeon within Radford. The White Lady of Radford is a young woman from the Harris family. Her legend tells of her wishing to see a local young man living in nearby Austin, but being forbidden by her family. You're not allowed to go see that boy. Despite this, she took a boat.
Let me guess. She ended up in the water.
Ooh. Guess what she was wearing? White clothes. Obviously, it's a white lady.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, so she took a boat one night onto the lake whilst wearing her white clothing. The boat supposedly capsized with the White Lady disappearing under the water. Others have claimed the lady's lover was in the boat with her when it sank. Since then, they have told of supposedly seeing the White Lady sitting beside the lake in her ghostly form. As a result of this story, a nearby street towards one of the entrances of the park was named White Lady Road.
Wow.
So in Wales, in Welsh tradition, the White Lady, or woman in white, I'm not going to pronounce the Welsh words because I'll butcher them.
Let's say your attempt.
Eladiwen, or
That was pretty Welsh sounding. Eladiwen.
I'm going to butcher this part. Dines Mwyn Gwen. That's absolutely butchered.
I don't think they'll pronounce
Dines
it like
Mwyn Gwen, woman in white, is a common apparition in the Celtic mythology. Dressed in white, and most common at Calangaeth, the Welsh Halloween. Listen to Mark Reese's podcast, Ghosts and Folklore of Wales, to get actual pronunciations of any Welsh words.
that. Yeah. Who was that?
Mark Reese.
Mark Reese.
Yeah.
I'm assuming Mark Reese is either Welsh or can speak.
He's Welsh. Yeah, he's Welsh.
Right, that's
Very interesting podcast.
Mark, if you're listening,
Probably.
you're driving.
She was often evoked to warn children about bad behaviour. Eladiwen is characterised in various ways, including being a terrifying ghost who may ask for help if you speak to her. So don't talk to ghosts, children. Eladiwen is also associated with restless spirits guarding hidden treasure, which is very similar to the previous story in England.
You see, that one makes me think, is it a thing where it's like, oh, come to my cellar, young boy, there is some gold in a vault, and then the locks the boy in the vault. The family don't know the vault's there. The boy's trapped there for eternity.
I would imagine they all wear white because white was the colour of night clothes back in the day.
Well, it's one of those where sheep's wool, white. It's like a lot of things, cotton, white.
Yeah, white.
A lot of things made by these, colour things where they wouldn't have necessarily
Undergarments
had a
were
lot of
always
dye.
white.
Yeah.
So Welsh topography, inspired by sightings and tales of Eladiwen, can be found throughout Wales. The village of Iwenny has both a White Lady's Meadow and a White Lady's Lane, and St. Athan also has a tradition of Eladiwen. Now we'll move over to the good old US of A. The White Lady is said to haunt, there's multiple White Ladies. I'm just going to run through a little bit of our areas. So there is a White Lady said to haunt Durand Eastman Park in Rochester, New York, who's also known as the Lady of the Lake. The 19th century lady wanders the park area obsessively looking for her daughter's body. Oh, God.
Oh, Jesus. These get grimmer even.
Later
every
slain
time.
by a boyfriend or group of hoodlums, depending on the story you hear. Legend has it the White Lady either killed herself in grief or died alone and heartbroken. So we've got a White Lady, or the White Lady of Avenel, is the most commonly reported apparition of Avenel, Bedford, Virginia. Union Cemetery in eastern Connecticut has reported sightings of a White Lady since the late 1940s, said to haunt their nearby Stepney Cemetery in Monroe, Connecticut. And then we have one in Altoona, Pennsylvania,
Okay.
one in Yermo, California, Fremont, California, and in Dallas, Texas. That there is the White Ladies. I was going to run through all the other different colours of ladies, but we're at an hour nearly.
Yeah, I think we may need to save some ladies for
I
another
think we
night.
may need to do a part 2. That was some lady ghosts. And like I said, we're going to come back for part 2 because there's far too much to cover in one podcast there.
Yeah.
That is just
I mean,
a list of some ghosts and White Ladies. And
Yeah.
that's not all the White Ladies from the list. And I'm probably going to edit a few out.
Yeah, probably somewhere it was either butchering pronunciation or just getting the whole thing
Completely
ridiculous and it sounding daft.
butchered. Absolutely. So there we are. That's been another episode of Paul versus the Paranormal. So I'm Paul.
I'm Rob.
And thank you for joining us again. We will catch you all on the next episode.